You not hear me, Slim? Hang on. Can you hear me now? That's good. Well, I was basically saying we've got 13 in. We are still got a few minutes left before the tournament goes up, but there's not a lot of people sitting in the chat that would be likely to sign up. That's the thing. Looking at the name, Stubb hasn't got in yet. He might fancy his chances better with less people in it. Although he's maybe choking and bottling out. Oh, he's in now. So that should be 2 spots left. So Stubbs in. Now, while that's going on, I want to have a quick look at the bracket for the Cribbage World Championships, because there's there might have been another update to it, but the one that I know of was the match I was getting all set for a long, late night last night, and that was the match between Larry and Acero, of course, Acero from Japan. And as I was posting links for it in the lobby, thank God Larry told me, he said Acero's forfeited. So that's the match there between Larry and Acero. And Acero has withdrawn from the tournament because he's also forfeited the one-loss side match. So he is not going to be taking part in the tournament. But meanwhile, Larry's now through to round 2, where he will play Sylvia, and that is going to be tomorrow night at 7 p.m. British Summer Time, which is 2 p.m. Eastern Time, of course. I'll be there for that. And the other matches, of course, were already in the bracket. We've got LS3 and Cheeky Chico, who go on the same evening but an hour later. So we're just going to have to keep an eye on that match, because we're going to go with the first match in the schedule, which is the Sylvia Larry match. And then the final match in the schedule over the weekend is the match, or the big match. 2 big guns going head-to-head, Cobra against Bedhead. And that is on Sunday evening at 7 p.m. British Summer Time, again 2 p.m. Eastern. I'll be there for that. And I hope you can join us as well. And if you can't, it will be on YouTube. See if we can get back to this bracket. There we go. What am I pressing the bracket for? I'm looking at the players. So it looks as if we're going to have 14. I think we'll be pushing it to get any more now. We're about a minute away. So good evening to Slim. I think you're the only one here. Yeah, I'm glad, Larry. I'm glad Acero decided not to show up, because I was really, really tired. Oh, I'm muted again. I'm trying to get used to this Gamecaster again. Remember what my button mute button is. Welcome to Napnicker. Welcome everybody else. Yeah, we're back on Gamecaster because I've got XSplit Broadcaster all set up for the matches over the weekend, so I don't want to be messing about with that. And the only thing to check is the usual thing in this, if I can find my button. I'm trying to remember my buttons in this. My little doodles, and they're working okay. So I reckon LS3 will be getting the 7 ball or the 8 ball. Probably the 7 ball I think she'll be getting against Spectre Dawn. Spectre Dawn's already, well, 3 minutes has gone by and he's still not showed up. Well, down in there's a weather warning or a red warning from and that's the wrong way round, isn't it? I can't remember where the hell I go with this now. This is for the south of England and central England on Sunday. I think it's Monday and Tuesday. They're looking for record temperatures. The first time it's ever gotten to 40 degrees in the UK. That's a very strong possibility they're talking about. But us up here in Scotland, we're forecast a couple of warm days. It might get to about 27, which is about 81. We've had that before, but I'm glad I'm not down south. So, in actual fact, LS3 is getting the 8 ball. So, that means that this is, of course, for any newcomers, this is a Moneyball handicap tournament. You don't get racks in your favour, you get a Moneyball, an extra Moneyball. So LS3 just needs to pot the 8 ball with any legal shot during the rack, and she will win the rack. Now, obviously, if the 8 ball goes down any sooner than that, by Spectre Dawn, then it means that LS3 has to clear the table to the 9 ball to win the rack. And it's a race to 7, and then a race to 4 on the 1 loss side. And once again, I'm on this lower camera view. And cue ball. Thought about scratching. Well, Spectre Dawn can duck this cue ball away here and have LS3 in trouble. The 3 ball does go past the 9 ball up the table, but it'll do well to hold the cue ball and bank the 2 at the same time and still have a shot in the 3. But if not, it can still bury LS3 behind that 3 and 9. Now that was my phone. What's that all about? So the legal hit by LS3. Spectre Dawn going for the bank and trying to do some crazy stuff to get the 3 ball into play. LS3's problem here is been able to see the 3 ball, so she probably, well, she's underhit that because I can't think that she tried to leave the bank. She could have tried to get in between the 6 and 9 there, but she's going to have to play the bank. And that's well controlled because that little draw shot drew her into the 8 ball. And plenty of room to get the 4, so LS3 looking good to get this first rack on the board. Now, she could have played that a bit better, because now she's got to make sure she gets right over to either side, whatever side she wants to get to, so she's not hampered by the 8, and that'll do it. So now just the 6, the 7 and the 8 to get the first rack on the board. Oh dear, well, it needs to slow up. And it's just slowed up. So the cue ball can go 3 rails, or she can nurse this in like that, just to leave it long. So just a straight in 8 ball should settle the affair in the first rack. And it's winner breaks, of course. Cue ball this time. Well, if you're going to come back off that 1 ball, then you can't come back off in a straight line like that. You'd be far better off breaking from the centre of the table with the Larry break, that I call it, because that way the cue ball's coming back towards this short rail in the bottom. You're not going to scratch that way. It'll only scratch if it gets kicked in, but to play a break from an angle with draw on the cue ball is a bit crazy, because if you're in a line with that corner pocket, the cue ball's only going to go one direction. And that's a gift of a start for Spectre Dawn to tie the match up straight away. Well, now he just wants to get into this cue ball enough. Well, he's playing in the short side of it, and he's leaving it more upward to get this 6, but again, should cause him very little problem. 7 ball over the side pocket, so nothing to do other than focus the pot and make sure he can get back down for the 8. Loads of room to get there, and as usual, no excuse. Now with this one, it's all about avoiding hitting the 9 ball. So he's just going to come back to the left as we look. Well, he almost hit it. But that came all from a poor break by LS3. That's one thing to make sure. The most obvious thing is, if you're breaking from the side, like that, or like that, then don't put draw in the cue ball if you hit it plumb, because you'll just go straight back into the pocket like that. I didn't notice anything going in there. Did something drop? Nope, it's dry. LS3's, let's just say she's not got a lot of room to work with here, but that may well go in off the jaw, but it just got to skim past the 4 ball and no more. And I think it will go, but she's also got to think about the 2 ball. Now, there's another really poor shot from LS3. Although she's got, no, she hasn't even got cover behind the 3, so everything about that shot was wrong. I think it should have been far better trying to at least pot the 1, but she had to get top of the cue ball to try and come through for the 2. There's 2 careless shots from LS3 that's going to cost her 2 racks and cost her her early lead. And she's definitely better than that. You know, that's maybe not 100% focused. Spectre Dawn did the wise thing there, knowing that he's bound to have a shot in the 5. Rather than having to leave the 7 where he may well pot the 7 and run into the 8, he decided to give them a nudge. And that takes any doubt out of the shot that he's about to play next. That opens it wide up and makes his life a lot simpler. And Spectre Dawn will do this all night as long as you give him that opportunity. And you know, doing stuff that LS3's just done with her last shot is just playing straight into his hands. So, Spectre Dawn 2-1 in front, and this time he's got a couple of balls in the break, but I don't think he can see the 2. Let's have a quick look. No, he can't, and I'm sure LS3 will be glad about that. So he's just looking where he's going to push. And he doesn't want to leave this cue ball in such a position that LS3 can push through the 2 and block him off. And she can't, because the 2 is going to hit the 6. Now, if that cue ball had been any further up like that, he'd have been nailed to the 6. And again, that is not great, because Spectre Dawn can certainly cut the 2. Well, he's not risking it. He's just going to bide his time. I think the problem with that shot is he could cut it, but he was never in good shape to be able to hold for the 3. Good evening to Cobra. So LS3 having to kick up and down. Again, giving it every chance to try and get that 2 ball in the pocket. It's a good effort. Well, LS3's got to get herself at the table to get herself in this, or give herself a chance to get in this. So she's going to have to play a good safety at some point if it needs to be played, or start potting balls. To do that, she's got to get the opportunity. And if she doesn't, this match will just run away. And this is where LS3 getting the 8 ball is not really that great an advantage, especially in this position where she's not getting a shot. It doesn't matter what handicap you get, I keep saying it. If you're getting very little opportunities, and what ones you are getting, you're not making the most of them, or you're not getting the safeties right, then you're asking for trouble. So 3-1. And if this break starts working here for Spectre Dawn and he can get a shot, well, he's got a ball. Now where's this 4 ball ending up? A couple of balls have gone, the 2 and the 7, and that 4 ball has come to LS3's rescue as far as this bottom right's concerned. Is he going to try the cut? He's looking at the angle, I think. So, cue ball. Well, I thought if he let it run the cue ball to try and get some sort of shot in the 3, I thought if he'd stunned it, he would have hit the 4. But it wasn't the 3 he was playing for; it was the 2, which I think he actually got on. No, tell a lie, that's the 8. 2's already gone, what am I talking about? So, LS3 has the first opportunity, but didn't get good in the 3. And now needs a bit of luck here. She's going to run across here and probably hit something. But she doesn't want to tuck herself in behind something. Well, she's brushed the 5. And now, well, that 5-9 is dead, and now she needs to have a good look at that, because when she pots this 4, she wants to cut it. Let's have a look at the angle. She wants, oh no, she's the wrong side. So she just wants to make sure she can see enough of this 5 to probably blast it. And that wasn't my way of thinking of doing it. Let's have a look. You needed to be over this side, I think, for this 9 to go, but to me it's dead set. Well, she's played a billiard. Mind you, she only needed the 8, didn't she? And that was a good shot. What am I talking about? I never spotted that because I was too busy looking at the bloody combo. I'm glad somebody's paying attention. Yeah, I was too busy looking at that 9, and I was thinking where I wanted the cue ball to go to actually give myself at least a chance of blasting that 5 ball onto it. And all along, LS3 was fully aware that she only had the 8 ball and had a chance of the billiard, and she played it. So that was well spotted. Well, Bill's off to a flyer against Christian. 7 racks to 0, and LS3's got her second rack in the board, and Spectre Dawn has avoided a scratch. Well, this is going to be an awkward one as well for Spectre Dawn. He's got the cut on the 2, he's gone through far enough for the 3, and that's perfect. So it's looking already likely that LS3's short-lived comeback is going to end here. Again, this has just gone to that spot that you don't really like. It's neither here nor there. It's just all about reading that angle and going 100% committed to it, which Spectre Dawn always does. And it's going to be 4-2. Well, I shut the golf down there before I came on the live stream, and McIlroy was making his move. He's got good opportunities for birdies in the run-in on the run-in at St Andrews, where he can get close to the lead if he doesn't have any disaster between now and then. I think he's 3 shots off the lead, but he's in good shape when I stop watching it. So LS3 is in again, and once again, as long as she minds her work, she's got to get herself out. Now this just, again, could have done with going further up the table, because the angle in the 3 means you've got to think about avoiding the 8 ball, avoiding running over to the left-hand side here. But the angle, I don't think, she's putting loads of side on it, I think, to check the cue ball. And that's a little bit of a recovery. Now, again, if she just plays this plain ball, she could push the 7 ball dead. It doesn't want to do that. Well, she did her best to get it dead. And now, the other problem she's got is she's stuck to the rail and isn't able to get right into this cue ball and get good control on it. She's got to cut the 5. Cue ball's going to run across. It might be 2 rails. It depends on the pace she plays this at, but it's got to be played where she's going to have a cut in this 6 ball. And she's trying to dig down to create the shot, and that was well controlled. That was a good shot, because that was exactly what was needed. Yeah, Tiger just couldn't putt. I mean, I think looking at him, he looked a better condition walking than he did at the US Open, or was it the PGA? Sorry, I think it was the PGA. What one was it he came out of the last one? Whatever it was. He looks a bit better in terms of his comfort. He didn't look in any pain or anything like that. He might well have been, but leg injuries take a long time to heal, and the severe leg injuries he's had in the operation and bolts and stuff that's been in his shins and all that stuff, it takes a while for muscle to regenerate. And the physical side, I noticed one thing though, he was getting down on the putts a lot better than he was in the last tournament he was in. He was actually getting down on his hunkers, as we call it over here, where he could actually line the putt. The only problem is he couldn't line up enough putts to get them in the hole. That was the problem. And so he struggled. But I think, he needs to get match play as well. He needs to get the game face on again. And I think, obviously they were saying in the commentary, that's maybe the last time he's going to be at St Andrews. Well, there's a strong possibility it will be, because he's 46 at the moment, and the Open Championship, for those of you that don't know, the Open Championship itself rotates around all the links courses in the UK, but it always, no matter what links courses it rotates to, it always goes back to St Andrews every 5 years. So it will be back at St Andrews in 2027. And by that time, Tiger will be 51. And when you consider that Jack Nicklaus won his last major when he was 46 himself at Augusta, Tiger's chances they're slim and getting slimmer. But what does favour him is that as long as he stays physically in the shape that he is, I mean, he's physically in good shape in terms of, if you don't include his leg, everything else about him is good. He's swinging the ball better, not as vigorous he was, or swinging the club better, and he was actually taking pretty good lines around St Andrews when he did. He just got into he started off with a disaster. Anybody who goes into the Swilcan Burn on the first hole at St Andrews is a bad shot. He hit his drive, he landed in a little hummock, a little hillock, a little valley, a little drop, and he landed in an old divot. And then he caught the ball heavy when he was playing his pitch into the green. And where they put the flag on the first day was in a tough corner of the green, right next to the burn. And he hit it short, and that was him. Two shots dropped straight away. And that's where I watched Lee Trevino do exactly the same thing in his last Open Championship at St Andrews. But for Tiger to start off like that, he's already battling the elements to try and stay in touch. But I don't think he should be quite written off, because I think he's the type of temperament that he'll work on his fitness. He'll do all of that stuff to get himself as close to 100% as he can. But then, of course, he has to have the competitive play to still give him a chance. He might win another big tournament. It might not be at St Andrews. And he might not be around at that time. But if he has any other physical drawbacks in the foreseeable future, then he might give it serious thought to calling it a day. But then again, that's probably down to his surgeon's advice as well. All of that sort of stuff to take into consideration. But I wouldn't write him off 100%. So anyway, where have we got to? Well, with me rabbiting on, it's now 6-2 to Spectre Dawn. And, well, those couple of shaky shots LS3 had early on, well, that's a sort of set of doom in this match. Well, don't forget, Cobra, I was one of them, as well as every other sports journalist that's ever walked this earth, who all said that Tiger would never win another major, and then he comes back after these previous operations and all the other stuff that went on, and he then won again. So that's why I'm not writing him off, because what I did see about him is that he did look better. He looked better walking. He could get down in the ball better. St Andrews greens are not easy to read. They're big greens. There's lots of little hummocks and hillocks and everything on them. They're not as fast as Augusta. Nothing's fast as Augusta, but I just think he's physically looking a lot better than he was, and I won't write him off yet. Well, LS3, she's going to have to pull her finger out, because some jittery couple of shots in the end. At the end of the day, they cost her, because that got Spectre Dawn away. So it's a comfortable win for Spectre Dawn by 7 racks to 2. Well, he should be in much better shape for next season. But he's already said that he physically knows that he can't do the amount of tournaments that he would want to do in order to keep him in match fitness. So he's looking at saving himself for the majors. But to do that, I think, it's 6.5 a dozen. He doesn't want to burn himself out. He doesn't want to overstretch himself, overstrain himself by doing too much walking. But as his physical fitness comes back to him, then he may well do some warm-up stuff where he's getting himself in a sort of a level that he feels he's going to be competitive. There was nothing disastrous about his 2 rounds of golf. I mean, to come around and finish, 7 over par or 6 over par, that is not bad for St Andrews. I mean, everybody thinks St Andrews is an easy course because a lot of greens are accessible. But you've got to get the ball in the hole. And, the weather's been good. It's been fairly kind to them. The defence of St Andrews is always when the wind and the weather starts happening. But the forecast for the next 2 days is to be pretty good as well. So it's going to be a big score, a low score that's going to win it. Right, anyway, back to the matter in hand. So LS3 over to the one loss side. Spectre Dawn through, and Bill is 4-0 down against Mooncake. And Larry is about to play Spectre Dawn. And we've got Stubb, who's 5-3 up against us. U91. and DJ Redo's Ice Age, sorry, is 6-3 up against DJ Redo. Slim's already through, and he's waiting to win the Chesdev and Travelling TT. But I think what we should do is just jump in and have a quick look at this match with Bill. It's now 5-0 to Mooncake, and Mooncake's getting the 7 ball, which is again a very generous handicap. Oh, aye, St Andrews is one of the easiest courses for these professionals nowadays with the length that they hit the ball, but it's nothing like that when you play it in real life. You know, you had a wayward shot into a green at St Andrews, right? Most of them are double greens. And the problem with that is that if you hit it wayward and it lands on the green, you could be 100. You know, the best part is like 100 yards away from the bloody hole. There's one of the greens is like a full acre in size, and the bunkers are deadly. You know, you get into the bunkers in St Andrews, you're coming out sideways, and you've seen it this week already. And Tiger went round that course in 2005 and never found a bunker. Yeah, well, it's not how long you drive the ball. It's, you know, you've got to do the other things right. And they're talking about crazy things about somebody going round in a 59. You know, that could happen, but it's not quite as simple as that. Now, on the other hand, you talk about Carnoustie as an Open Championship golf tournament. That's the toughest Open Championship golf course, Carnoustie. I was at Carnoustie, and I saw Sergio Garcia. His round fell apart in one hole, and that was him gone. And that was the year that what's his name played his last Open Championship before he died in the plane crash. The American guy, Payne Stewart. And Carnoustie that year was brutal because it had narrow. Carnoustie's noted for its narrow fairways and brutal rough. And if you don't get that ball on a line there and the wind gets up there, you're dead and buried. That is a tough golf course. And that, I'll tell you something else, Cobra. Carnoustie, I used to have that in PGA Tour golf long before Electronic Arts ever got involved in it. It was the original company that developed the PGA golf game. I used to have it. And Carnoustie in that golf game was bloody difficult. So Bill is off the mark. He's got a long road back. And Bill knows that if he's given any chances to Mooncake's more than capable of getting used to a 7 ball as a money ball. Oh, aye, that's the big test for the golfers when the wind. I mean, you look at even at St Andrews. St Andrews is always the same. Even on a day that wasn't too bad, it's maybe been cool. This morning it was sort of cool and damp. There was a bit of rain going around, but there was little or no wind this morning, none at all. And then the tide changes. The weather front moves through, the sun comes out, and then the breeze gets up, and then it's a different golf course altogether. There's been years at St Andrews, not that long ago, where the course was dry like it was this week, where they had not a lot of rain, and then the wind got up, and the balls were rolling on the green, they were moving. They had to suspend play. You know, it can get really brutal when the wind gets up. Because you've got absolutely no shelter whatsoever off the sea. It's right next door. So Mooncake needs to get to the 7 ball, but his first thing he needs to negotiators dealing with this 3 ball, which he's looking at cutting onto the 8. No, he's just looking at the safety. Not a bad choice, but Bill won't refuse the bank, I don't think. I was watching a guy today on a YouTube video. He was playing PGA 21, and he said when he was doing his video or his introduction, he was going to play a fantasy course, one of these courses that one of the guys had made. This was recommended to him by one guy. So he starts up the game, and every hole is a par 7, and it's they're all straight holes pretty much, but some of the holes you actually putt off the tee, and you putt it like 290 yards down a slope, and it keeps rolling down and it keeps rolling down, and then it gets to the green where it drops onto the green, and the green's like a bowl, and so the ball rolls up the green and down the green and round and round and round. And the only thing he never did was get a hole in one. But he went around in I think it was minus 81 for 18 holes. Every hole was a par 7, so he was getting 2s, he was getting 3s, so he was getting albatrosses and eagles and birdies all over the place. It was a crazy looking course. So as Bill on the comeback trail, it's not going to be easy here. Got to dink this 1 ball in and hope he hits the 7, and that's what he was hoping there. He was hoping he would just stun into the 7, or hoping he would bounce out far enough to get enough of this 2 ball. He might just have got enough of it. Well, the hole that makes or break your round at St Andrews is the 17th. That's always been the case. And you look at that bunker now at the road hole. That bunker now is like, I would say it's about at least a foot shallower than what it used to be. When I think it was Tommy Nakajima ended up in there, and it took him 4 shots to get out the bunker. That's why they called it the Sands of Nakajima. They gave it that nickname. But the road hole's a brutal hole, you know. For any normal golfer, that scares the shit out of you standing in the tee, and you know that the right line to take is to take it over the sheds towards the hotel. The problem with it is every golfer that ever stands in that tee is crapping himself from fading it into the out of bounds. Now the 16th, the 17th, and the 18th are all out of bounds on the right hand side, and that's the scary thing about St Andrews, especially when the wind gets up and it's coming in off the sea. But this is a myth that St Andrews is dead easy. It is not easy. It's about finding the right spot in the green most of the time, and not getting in a bunker. Your whole tournament can be ruined by 1 bunker. Well, it's certainly, what was it, 2 in a row, or is that 3 in a row? I think it was 5-1, or was it 5-1 when we arrived? I can't remember now, but it's 5-3 now. Bill is on the comeback trail. It was 5-0. Well, this is always the simplest way to stop your opponent using the money ball. Just keep potting balls yourself. I mean, the one course that must, again, scare the living daylights out of a normal, everyday golfer is Augusta. Augusta must scare people to death when they play that course because, I mean, when you look at it, I had Augusta on the old PGA, and it was a bloody damn tough course because by default it was set where the greens were like bloody grease lightning. You know, you would hit a good shot onto a green, you would land in the wrong spot, and the next thing you know, it would roll 50 yards off the green. And I know the putting on Augusta is so damn fast for the normal human being. You know, if you get around Augusta and you're a normal everyday golfer, you can break 90. That's a good round of golf, I can tell you. You know, they've made golf courses now, especially the championship courses, they've made them beyond normal human ability. You know, you've got holes that are 600 odd yards long. Okay, you've got different tee boxes, but the greens on these championship courses, obviously, the way they design the US Open, the US Open's usually a par 70, which is a tough ask. And then you've got the tough greens, and then you've got rough that's usually brutal at the US Open as well. You know, they always want to try and make sure golfers don't get too far under par, so they make that challenge really difficult. But the ultimate test in golf is the creativity that you need for somewhere like a links course. You know, you've got to be able to generally keep the ball low in the wind. So you've got other shot types you have to learn. You've got to learn the little bump and runs. Look at how many people have putted off the greens at St Andrews. You know, the fairways are tight, so you can putt for yards and yards and yards, and you've got to be able to learn that and learn the little subtleties of these greens. And there's a lot of guys, they'll only ever, you know, some of these guys will only ever play a links course when they come to an Open Championship, whether it be St Andrews or Turnberry or Troon or Sandwich in Kent or Royal Liverpool. It doesn't matter what one. For the rest of the year, you know, they're so used to the PGA Tour stuff, you know, manufactured fairways and all that stuff, a lot of them. Whereas the natural contours and the wind and the tides and everything else is the sort of purest test of a golfer's ability. But modern golf now is boom, bang, a bang, hit it as far as you can and pitch it to the green. That's the modern way of playing golf. I noticed that they've got a campsite on the old rugby grounds at St Andrews where you can, presumably you've got to reserve your tent, and if you want to, you can stay there for the full week. Bet that costs a pretty penny as well. Well, Bill's comeback is almost complete. We are going to be all square. Yeah, Whistling Straits, yeah. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, you know, Whistling Straits is a really sort of unique looking golf course. But as you said, they don't play at the PGA Tour, so I mean, a lot of these guys, and I'm not talking about just the guys from the States. You know, half the guys in this tournament are you know, a lot of them will be on different tours, especially the guys from Japan and Korea and all of that stuff. But the big American groups that are there, like I say, they'll only ever play on a links course when they come over here. And Tiger does this. Tiger's done the same thing for 25 years when he's been coming over here. He always goes to Ireland the week before, so you'll never see Tiger playing in the Scottish Open or anything like that. The Scottish Open is the week before the Open Championship, and Tiger's never over here until either the Sunday night before the Monday morning, because he's playing in Ireland for the full week. He does his links practice over there, and then he flies over to wherever the Open Championship's set. But as I say, going back to Tiger, I just think that he's not dead and buried. I just thought the first thing I looked at was how good he was getting down on the putts, and he's getting down to the height that he needs to now to try and read the putts. So I think he's made improvements, and just through time, because you've got to give him, been months yet before he feels better. He doesn't feel better now because he's got all that muscle damage and everything that's recovering. But I think give him time, and provided he wants to play more tournaments, it's up to him. Provided he wants to play more tournaments, then he can still be a contender. It's how long he wants to play, and it's also now, of course, not just his leg. It's whether his back will hold up, and whether all his other injuries that he's had are sustainable, and he survives them. He's got lots of bits that can go wrong with him, but the main thing is that his recovery continues. He builds up that muscle strength, and he gets the match practice in, the tournament practice in. If he can get that, he's not out of it. Oh, aye. Well, I think I don't think he would come out of this week's championship despondent. I think he'd be happier if he'd made the cut, regardless of whether he won it. But he just had that disaster, and that sets you off in a long road back. And especially when you consider the conditions he went out in were the toughest during the day yesterday. So he had a bad draw. He would have much preferred going out in the morning and getting a good chance of getting a decent round in. Of course, to do that, you don't want to end up going in the burn at the first hole, which he did. So there's a couple of results through. Stubbs through 7 racks to 5. How did Sylvia end up in the one-loss side? I never even noticed that result going through. But anyway, Sylvia's going through against Christian by 4 racks to 3. Yeah, I mean, you'll never hear the true stories of these things unless he wants to sell his autobiography if he hasn't already sold one. Well, Mooncake took it out in the end. It was a good battle by Bill, but Mooncake eventually goes through by 7 racks to 5. Right, let's talk pool now instead of golf. Right, what have we got? Well, we've got that match with Larry and Spectre Dawn that started. And it's 4-2 to Spectre Dawn at the moment. What happened to Sylvia? I never even noticed that result going through. Where the hell is that in the bracket? I can't see it. Oh, she lost 7-1 to Mooncake. That's why. That's why Mooncake was playing Bill. Now I realise it. Right, so let's jump in. Catch Larry and Spectre Dawn. Oh, I mean, if I wasn't doing Friday night 9-ball right now, I'd be doing what I did yesterday. You know, in between toilet breaks and going for something to eat, I sat from 6:30 yesterday morning right through to, I think it was 9:15 last night when the final 3 players went up the 18th. So I sat all day yesterday watching the golf. I had a great stream yesterday, and I had the same great stream today. And now I'm going to have to watch the BBC highlights later on. In fact, I'll probably have to watch them in iPlayer. This will finish probably too late for that, because I want to see how Rory McIlroy finishes off the day, because he's got good opportunities. Obviously, in the 18th, he's got a chance of an eagle, because he can certainly drive the green. On the 18th, no problem. It's whether he can get through the road hole without any damage. He's got a good chance that he could be tying the lead, unless he has some disaster. But anyway, Spectre Dawn is continuing in the same vein as he normally does, potting everything they can see. This is a scratch match, no handicap. Oh, Bill beats. No, it was Mooncake, wasn't it? Aye. Now you're bloody well confusing me, Cobra. I just looked at the chat there. I thought I'd read it wrong. Well, there's a do. There's a big miss there from Spectre Dawn. So Larry's got a chink of daylight here. Well, he's closing the daylight. He's going to be back to within 1 and with the break. Well, that was unexpected. Now, is that the opportunity that Larry needs? And Larry, is he going to be able to get a good break and a shot? There, that break there, that's Larry's break for the cribbage tournament. Exactly what he's doing there. I don't think I'll be surprised if Larry starts going at any balls down the side of the pack. I think he'll just break like that, because to me that's the safest break to do, to just get the cue ball. And look where the cue ball's finished, right in the middle of the table. Now this is, let's have a quick look around at this. See, that's not the problem. The problem's where the cue ball has to go, and he's got to work this a fair bit here to be able to get a cut in this 4 ball. This is a big shot. Four ball sitting there, so the cue ball's going to have to do a wee bit of movement here. Oh, he hasn't let it run enough. I think he was a bit worried if he'd overhit that, he'd have hooked himself, but he needed to get a bit more into it. It's the bedhead cut. Severe bedhead cut, this one. Cue ball's bouncing up down the table. And he's overcut it, believe it or not. Now he needs to get lucky, and I don't think he has. Well, I'll tell you why I didn't stream. I'll tell you exactly why I didn't stream Popman and Tommy. Because when I checked it in the middle of the afternoon, there was nothing in the bracket. And so I ended up setting up my XSplit broadcaster for the match between Larry and Acero. And then I was out of VP4 for the rest of that afternoon. I think it was... now, what happened? Did I get a text message? Who sent me a text, or who sent me something on Facebook? I can't remember. And it said that Popman was playing. And by that time, I was busy doing other things. And so that's why I left it well alone. And I hadn't got my stream set up either, so I wasn't prepared to start messing about on something that I'd already been messing about on. See, the biggest mistake Popman and who the hell was playing again? Popman and Tommy did is that this was probably something that the two of them seen one another in the lobby and decided, right, let's play. And if it's not in the schedule, I can't sit looking at the schedule all day. If it's not in the schedule, then I'm not going to plan for it. And unless I'm in the lobby at the time, and I'm given enough time, I can't always get it set up in time to stream. Well, that's going to creep out far enough, and Larry is going to be another victim here by the look of it, unless things take a sharp turn in his favour. Yeah, he probably will be glad I didn't. Oh yeah, again, now the other thing to mention as well while we're at it is that all these matches that are on the schedule right now, they're all fine as far as what I can stream, because as of Sunday night, at the end of the match between Cobra and Bedhead, that's me back at work Monday morning. So Sunday night, it's as soon as that match is finished, I'll be off to bed, up at 4 AM, back to work Monday. It's back to the routine. I've had 2 weeks off, and you know, I've got every match that has been on the bracket that I've seen, I've been able to stream. So now we're back to normality come next week. So if there's any matches that are like 8 o'clock my time, that's pushing the boat out on this cribbage tournament, especially if it's like 2.5 hours. Well, if you're going to schedule next week, Slim, it's easy. If you schedule it for like say Tuesday afternoon your time, that'll be early evening my time, like 7 PM or something, or whatever. That's fine, because on Tuesday I stop my work for a couple of days, so my days off are Wednesday and Thursday. So if you set it for Wednesday middle of the afternoon your time, then I'm fine. I'll go with that, because I've not got work the next day, and Wednesday included. So if you'd set it for Tuesday or Wednesday, that's fine with me. I'll be able to get that in. Well, it was short and sweet, but Spectre Dawn's on a mission again this week. It's 7-3 to Spectre Dawn, and he is marching on. Who's going to stop him? Well, the bad news for Mooncake is it's going to have to be him that has a go, because Spectre Dawn is about to play him. And meanwhile, Stubb is 1 rack all with Ice Age, and Ice Age is getting like 6 and out. We've got Slim, who's 3-0 up against Jezdev, and I don't know what Jezdev's getting. Is he getting... I can't read that. Honest to God, I can't read it. Is it the 5 ball or the 7 in it? 7 out, 7 and out, I think it is. And then on the one loss side, well, we've got one match going on with this Duke 91 against DJ Redo. Let's go and have a quick look at this match if we could see the end of it. It's 3-2 to DJ Redo, and this Duke 91 is getting a 7 ball. Let me quick look and see what kind of level of player we're talking about here. Well, he should be stuck to the 6 ball here. Right on top of the 6 ball. See, you've got to be confident enough to play these shots. As long as you've got trust in your mouse control, you could easily nail that cue ball to the 6. Well, that's one way of doing it, but that wasn't in the plan. That was the old roll it round the angles and hope you do get it safe. But it worked. And I don't think the angle was there to do that, because that 2-ball was in the way to get the line around the short angle around the corner to come back up and hit that one. So ball in hand for DJ Redo. And that's almost over hit. Lucky that he actually ran into the 4-ball there. Could have easily skimmed the other side of it and hooked himself. And likewise with this, I think he might have overcooked this. Yeah, got to get the control. And that's too far to jump. And again, struggling to find the line. So this is a chance for DQ. We'll call him DQ. I presume that's how you would pronounce it. Where the hell is he from? Let's have a quick look. Romania. So ball in hand. Just roll the 6 in. Nothing to do. Sorry, not the 6. I forgot about the 4. That is a good little shot. Little combo. And that, of course, is the money ball. So back to within 1. Final rack decider. Oh, he must be playing with a house cue. I never looked there, but it didn't look as if it was all that heavy, the break. Well, this 7-ball can be jumped to hit the 1, but it looks as if DJ Redo is playing a push out. And he could be in trouble here. Let's have a look. Has he got a cue? Well, aye, that's a playing cue, but I don't know whether he's got a break cue. Well, he could try and duck behind the 8 and the 9 ball here, but again, I think he's overcooked that as well. Well, that wasn't a great safety. And it's dead straight though. Absolutely plumb straight on this 1 ball. I don't think that can get cut, so he's just trying to duck away. Once again, could have played a better shot than that though. That cue ball should have been spun over towards this 4 ball. And the only danger with the shot that DJ Redo played there is that they actually potted the 2. Ended up hooked in the 3. But in the end of it, he's got a good safety. And once again, we've seen all too much evidence of players struggling to find the line. And this is why I did my video using the donut about looking for the line to hit a ball. If you're not using any diamond technique, then the line you should be using, if you use your donut and put your donut where you'd want to put a ball in the side rail, and like for example where the cue ball is now, right? You look at where the object ball is, like that 5 ball. Let's say you're hooked and the cue ball's there. Then what you do is you take a line to the rail with a donut and you look at where the object ball is that you want to hit. Now with a plain ball hit, if you hit that cue ball to that spot, that imaginary spot in the side rail, the cue ball has to come off the rail at the same angle that it goes onto the rail. So if it was the 8 ball you were trying to hit this time, then you would go to the rail with a donut, have a quick look at the line to the 8 ball, and that's where you would hit the spot on the rail from that line over there to there, and it goes to the 8. And I don't know whether many people use the donut. I think most people just use line of sight. But that, anyway, the match has been resolved. The queue has gone through by 4 racks to 3. So now, all the action is going to be on the winner's side. We've got Mooncake just started his match with Spectre Dawn. We've got Stubb playing Ice Age, and Ice Age is 4 racks to 1 up with a handful of money balls here. He's getting 6 and out. In fact, it's now 4-2. And Ice Age was the first player to forfeit in the Cribbage World Championships. He signed up to Friday Night 9 Ball last week, never showed up. And he signed up this week, and his 6 and out handicap has given him a 4-2 lead so far, so clearly Stubb's been making mistakes. And Stubb's doing the most obvious thing wrong when you're playing somebody that's an 1850 rating. He's taken liberties, and the liberties he's taken have cost him racks. So Stubb now is at the point in the rack where he can't make a mistake. Well, I think he's straight enough where he can just draw this back. Well, he's decided he's trying to stun out. He's almost got there. And now he's got to get back for that 9 ball. I think he's got enough angle. Yeah. So Stubb back to within 1 with the break in rack number 8. My ball looks as if it's going. The 1 ball, he can see the edge, but he certainly can't pot it. No, not a difficult hit. But if he just rolls gentle to this 1 from that side, he's not going to leave anything on. And that was a bit crazy. Well, that wasn't using common sense, was it? I mean, to me, all you do is roll to the 3, push it towards the 4 ball that's there. You're not going to leave any shot on. And he tried to squeeze through a gap that wasn't really there. Or tried to do something with the cue ball while he was trying to squeeze through the gap. So he's given Stubb, well, a free go here, ball in hand. That's not going to do yourself any good by giving Stubb free goes. Good bank there from Stubb. Nailed that 100%. Getting a wee bit straight, but he's probably just going to go through the gap. Well, again, he could have easily went through the gap there between the 8 and 9. He's now just left himself more work to do. And now he's going to have to just get into the cue ball a wee bit, just so that he doesn't go towards the 9. He's just making sure he comes back off the 8 and almost let the cue ball get away there. And Slim comfortably through to the next round. 7 racks to 0 against Jesdev. And Stubb is back all square. Well, look at the 9 ball. And Stubbs come up, well, he'd almost come up dry. But the 8 ball just dropped in at the last second. And he's went for the slam. And he's fluked to 1. Would you believe it? He went for the slam to try and get that 5 ball to run onto the 9. I think he missed the 5 as a matter of fact. And then he flukes the 1. Well, the easiest shot here is the billiard off the 5 onto the 9. I mean, I think the problem is, he's got room to get out and go over to the side here and just play the billiard. It's the easiest billiard in the world. Edge of the 4 ball, then onto the 9. And Stubbs trying to get down to play some combo, and I don't think that was the wisest shot he would have ever played. He could easily get over here. And the cue ball thought of scratching there, so he did it his way. But I wouldn't have played it that way. I would have just got over to the side rail and played the billiard. It seemed a lot easier to get there. But he's now got himself in the lead. What went there? The 6 ball. And look at the 1 right over the side. Two ball goes past the 9. He's going short rail, long rail and out. And now he's got himself in trouble. And he didn't get good, and that's going to scratch. He didn't get good shape on that ball there. So it leaves it, he's leaving himself more to do on shots. But you know, when your opponent is doing stuff like this, then you only have to worry about the fact you're giving him a handicap. You know, because anybody that really knows a semblance of what they're doing could get the cue ball in a much better spot than Ice Age got there. That was really poor. And we're back to having these big delays with Stubb. I don't know what the hell's going on. But something has gone on with his, and there must be something going on with his internet connection for this to happen. Oh, the yawning started 8:15 this time. It's usually around this time, 8:30 of that, the brain starts to slow down. Well, he should be fine now. You know, just a little soft draw off the 5 or a little stun. Cut the 7. Cue ball is always going to be on the 8. You know, you start wondering why Stubbs lost 4 racks in the first place. When you saw how poor a shot Ice Age played with his last chance he had there. And it could only be down to carelessness by Stubb. That's the way I see it, or that's my interpretation of it. I can't stand this. This is doing my head in. That's enough of that. Can't be doing with that. Right, let's go into Mooncake and Spectre Dawn. Spectre Dawn already raced into a 3 racks to 1 lead. Now Larry comfortably through as well on the 1 loss side. 4 racks to 0 against Duke Hugh. Well, Spectre Dawn is going to take a lot of stopping the way he's going. And Mooncake getting a 7 ball. But is he going to get a shot at the 7 ball at any time? He must have got the shot at least once to have a rack in the board. Well, this is dry. Well, I was going to say it's an opportunity here for Mooncake, but look at the way the 7 and the 9 ball are tied up. Well, that wasn't a gimme, that cut in the 1. But it's going to be a good run out for Spectre Dawn here to get this rack done. Fizzing the cue ball with right hand English to get it around the corner and up the table. But once again, this will be some shot. I mean, he can only really try and cut this 2, and he has to avoid the 6 in the first place, or get lucky and hit the 6 full in the face to just hold for a shot in the 3. Now, this cue ball is not the cue ball. The 2 ball is fairly tight to the rail. It's off the rail though, but he's leaving the big long cut in this 3. You've just got to get this really sweet connection. You've got to be in the 4, and then the problems start. Well, it wasn't easy, but Mooncake has a chance here, but he's got to be, I think, a bit aggressive here. If he can get up and out onto that 4, he has to try and do something, and he's got to rely on luck here if he's got the angle to try and nudge the 7 and 9, or at least be able to see the 5, because that 7 does go, but he's got to leave a cut on it. He's got to just nurse this in as gentle as he can. What am I talking about? I forgot about the 6. You can tell it's getting late for me. The brain has gone. I forgot about the 6 ball. Well, Stubb eventually won the match 7 racks to 4. It was, 4-1 when we arrived or whatever. But I can't be standing. I've got no patience for all this delay between shots. It just does my head in. Well, this isn't going to be nice. Well, he's just got to feather that and no more. And duck for cover up table. He's not even risking that, but Mooncake, well, that is not quite sneaked out enough. Spectre Dawn's having a look at it, but I think with the best will in the world, there's not enough room there. He thinks he's looking at it. My eyes say you can't get past that 9. Is he jumping? Is he just trying to bend it? No, he's trying to jump it. Well, there you go. When you can do that, why worry? And that was Mooncake trying to prevent leaving the bank on that ball by running the cue ball up the table. He tried to get delicate, and he just overhit it slightly, and he left enough for Spectre Dawn just to jump that and get it in the hole. And that's why it's so tough to beat him. You've got to keep everything tight. And above all, when you get chances, they simply have to go. You've no other option. You must deliver when you get that opportunity. Spectre Dawn now with a comfortable 5 racks to 1 lead, a ball in the break. Now, is he going to kick the one, or is he just going to skim it and slam it and try and cut the 3? Because that looks as if the 3 will go. Well, he's actually, I think he's missed that, but billiarded the 7 in, was it? Yep, that's exactly what he's done. And now he's hooked to the 2. Now is Mooncake going to get a go? Quick spin round, and he can see the 2, and he's getting the 7 ball, and of course that 7 ball is now gone, so he's got to run the table to get his second rack on the board. Well, this is a little stun, and well, he's playing it the simpler way, just dropping into the side, but he just needs to have the angle where he can hold, which he does have. It's fairly straight. So it is going to be his second rack. Is he going to get on a roll to get right back into this match? Well, a good enough break, because look at the way they're spread, and I think Mooncake straight away will be resigned to losing this rack, because the balls are absolutely nailed everywhere. This rack is done and dusted. Spectre Dawn is bound to be on the hill after this, but I can't see where this is going wrong. And that's exactly what you don't want to happen just after you've pinched a rack. Is break, but not only break dry, break the balls perfect, then you end up dry, and you also leave them straight in the 1 ball in the side pocket. And the rest is inevitable. This is just join the dots. And again, Spectre Dawn is the one player that I know who plays in this tournament. He's the one player out of every player that's in this tournament on a regular basis that gets head and shoulders the amount of table time over everybody else. And that's one major reason why he's so strong in this tournament. Simple as that. He's getting hours practice one way or another, whether it be 10 ball or 9 ball in BP4. Because I've been off this past fortnight and I've seen how often he's in playing, and he's like that on a regular basis. And the table time, if you get the table time, you keep your touch, then you'll get the end results. Well, now it's the old point of no return for Mooncake. It looks like Spectre Dawn's done exactly the same in return as a favour to Mooncake. He's came up dry. No, tell a lie, hasn't. He's potted the 6 ball, which I never saw go in. And what's more, he's on the 1 again. Over. Oh, he's trying to run right down for this 2 on the side. Again, he's judged the pace well. Well, I think you can say sayonara to the one loss side, Mooncake, because you ain't getting another shot, mate. This is the only one that can go wrong. I mean, it's a little sort of draw. Just don't end up going behind the 7, which he hasn't done. And make sure you get as straight as you can on this 5 ball, unless you want to go up top. Now just try to get as straight as you can, just so he can come back and leave that little cut angle in the 7. Yes, he does, Cobra. I mean, I've seen him all last week, all this week, and it's the same every week. I mean, when I get home from work in the late mornings, you know, there's not that often during the day where he doesn't appear in the lobby, and he's either playing 10 ball or 9 ball. So it's like anything. As long as you're getting the table time in and you're keeping that touch. It's just it's habit forming as far as that goes, and everything else is autopilot. Well, Sylvia scraped through against Jezdev in a final rack decider to survive in the tournament. And you know, I'll say this about him: he's had all that table time and he's not won a big tournament yet. But he looks as if he's well on to winning this one. A 7 racks to 2 victory against Mooncake. That must put him in the hot seat, I think. Can't be far off it. Let's have a look. No, he's through to play. He's through to play the winner of Stub and Slim. Quick look at the one loss side, because that'll update once losers move through. But Larry's now playing Mr. Bill. And Bill's up 1-0, so we're going to get into that match. And Bill's now 2-0 up, so now that I've arrived, I'm about to jinx him. But I think he's at a ball. He's got a thin cut in the 1. 2 ball is wide open in the left side. And, well, dare I say it, if Bill can tuck this down the rail, he should be 3-0. Oh, he's had a nasty little bump off the knuckle there. You wasn't expecting that. He's now stone dead. Well, that was unfortunate. But then again, the commentator's curse worked. He was looking good for 3-0. Gets a little bump off the tip, and the cue ball goes dead. He's hooked, and I think Bill feels he's got away with that as well, though. I'll have a quick drink. Larry's going to have to dig one out here. Now this angle's horrible because the cue ball has to be going over in amongst those balls. And, well, the only good thing about it is he didn't scratch, but look at what he's ended up with. And Larry doesn't, I don't think Larry wants to try jumping this, because if he nudges the 6 out of the way by mistake, he's opening the table for Bill with ball in hand. I think Larry wants to just try and kick this reasonably gentle. Well, he has got it, but look at where the cue ball's gone. It's trailed all the way in. And his only saving grace here, Larry, is that he never bumped that 6 ball. Because Bill's going to have to do the work to try and get the breakout, because the 6 ball obviously doesn't go past the 7, and it's a tall order to try and get right behind this 6 on the short side. So he's going to go for a bump here, I think. Well, he's trying to get really cool and cute, and he's, well, I'll say he's got a shot, but whatever shot he chooses, it ain't easy. It's got to be the side pocket. I don't think he can get enough to take it up table. But this is not easy. But he's played it well. Cue ball leaking away. This is a scratch match, by the way, no handicap, and it's only a race to 4 on the one loss side. This is all about the pace in the cue ball. The further it goes, the squarer it goes, the tougher it gets. This is one of these testy ones. You easily can send this to a knuckle. But he went to the right side of the pocket, but it went in. So Bill is 3-0 up, and Larry is hanging on by his fingertips here. And the 6 ball has gone in, and if that 8 ball bounces out the way, well, the 8 ball's bounced out the way, but the 1 ball's locked onto the 4. What was it went? 6 ball went in the break. And Bill trying to just squeeze past there and hide up the table. He hasn't covered it 100%, but let's be honest, he's left Larry nothing. He's got to get this thin enough so he doesn't catch the point of this middle pocket. That's a good shot from Bill. And can he get enough of this too? Just enough of it. Just enough and no more. Well, if Bill can get good on this 5 ball, you would think it's hasta la vista to Larry this week. It all looks fairly straightforward and easy, this. Just having to get on the 8 ball. And, well, the angle he's got there, he can stun it in reasonably firm if he wants and just go to the short rail and back up this side. And he's just doing it with a wee bit of spin, but both work. And unless Bill makes a calamitous error here, he sent Larry packing, 4 racks to 0, and Bill marches on. So that's that match over. So we'll now jump back in and catch this. When did I hit? Oh, that was Mooncake, wasn't it? It's Stubb and Slim we're jumping into. I'm losing track of where I'm going here. Well, it's 2 racks all. And there's a rarity. Stubb plays a safety. Mark that in the book. And Slim is getting the 8 ball, which, to be honest with you, I don't think makes a great deal of difference. Well, this could go in if he gets it clean. But he's caught the 8 ball and didn't really get the line. So Stubb has got his reward for a common sense safety shot. And now he has to get himself out here, but obvious problem is 3 ball is blocked by the 6. So he's going to leave the combo, and again it's not a difficult combo. I mean, he's always going to pot this. And now he's going to probably just dink this in and leave the long 4 ball, because that, well, he could go across the table twice. He needs to make sure he runs through it, and that's now got himself out of line. You know, I think he could have dinked that in really gentle and just held it, because it was a far easier line to then run the 4 and come over for the 5. Now he's having to think about what he's doing a lot more here. And that's a good recovery. But that's what you don't want to be. You just don't want to be doing that. You want to be playing the sensible shot. I thought he could easily dink that ball in and just hold that side. But we all know sooner or later, if you keep going to the well, it's going to turn up dry sometimes. And LS3 has taken Ice Age out, 4 racks to 1. So she's still in there. And meanwhile, Stubb takes the lead. Now that, I think this time was dry. Now, again, you've got to make it clear in your mind what you're doing. Dink this in or across 2 rails. And don't dink it too much that you can't see the 2. And now, what does Slim do about this 3? Well, he could easily just dab the 2 in and drop out behind the 5 and 6. It's a tricky little touchy shot, but there's a gap to get the cut. He has to get the spin working. Oh, I don't think he's got there. It needed another feather. Another feather of spin. And he would have been able to see that 3 and get out for the 5. So now the jump cues come out. And this needs to come off the rail, obviously, and get out. And it hasn't done. That was the problem. Oh shit, he's on the 4. I'm forgetting about the 4 ball. Oh dear, I need to get to bed. Well, that was a delicate little jump shot there as a recovery for Slim, but now he's shot himself in the foot. And that's a big boo-boo. Oh, but that's a great recovery. That was worth a replay. What a kick shot that was. Now, how is he going to get in this 7? Well, it's not difficult because it's all about the pot. The cue ball is coming out into the table somewhere for a cut in the 7. He doesn't need to be doing anything elaborate. All 100% focus is in the pot. And I think this has got to be reasonable pocket weight so that he doesn't come off the rail too far if he's going to the side rail. What's he looking at? Is he still focusing on this pot? Because he's running out of time here. Oh, he's caught the point, and I think he ran out of time. He gave it too much thought. To me, you've got to come to those, look at it and say, right, that's it, and you play it, because you're going to run out of time with the shot clock, and it's going to cost him. Well, she's going to go central. Well, that wasn't very well played. That's short of running by a foot, at least, that cue ball. So it's a thin cut of the bank. So it's the bedhead cut by the look of it. And in it goes. Well, Slim's only got himself to blame there. But it is a 2-rack gap now. Now, was last week's Friday night 9 ball not between Stubb and Spectre Dawn, I think it was, Spectre Dawn. And there's Stubb at his banging tactic again, and he's probably just sold this rack by doing that. Yeah, I think Spectre Dawn sent him to the one-loss side last week by 7 racks to 2, and then pummeled him in the final. Stubb was well outplayed. And as I've said before in the stream, Stubb just never learns. All that potting ability, but not an ounce of common sense most of the time. But Slim has to deliver to stay in touch. There's a great documentary on the BBC iPlayer at the moment, and it's only 4 episodes, but it's about the Rolling Stones. And it focuses on what was the 4 principal characters in the group, as well as the previous. It doesn't mention Bill Wyman. I don't think it did in all the episodes I've watched. I don't think it really mentions Bill Wyman at all, because he used to be the bass player, if I'm right in thinking, with the Rolling Stones. And what the hell was the name? And now I'm talking. I've totally forgotten the name of the other guy that died. But it's 4 episodes, and it starts off with Mick Jagger. It's just about how he got involved with the Stones, and then it's Keith Richards, and then it's Ronnie Wood. And then the final one is, as I say, it was the 4 principal members of the group that were still alive, that is. And then the last one is, of course, the drummer Charlie Watts, who just died recently. But it's well worth a watch if you can get a chance to see it. It should still be on the iPlayer in the UK. And you'll still wonder how Keith Richards is still alive after you've watched it. and Ronnie Wood, because the 2 of them got up to real mischief, those 2. Well, Stubb is going to open up this gap again. Now, once again, he's going to have to play a good shot. I think he can draw off this and just go up past the side pocket here. I don't think he needs to do anything fancy. He might be a wee bit hampered over the 9. Well, he hasn't really got into it. I don't think he wanted to risk much more. He's just left one of these testy ones again. And it goes. Now, how come his cues appearing no problem here in this match? Somebody explain that to me. There's something. This has only started in the last couple of weeks with Stubb, by the way. I don't know what the hell he's up to, but this time his cues appearing no problem. It's appearing immediately. Now, he's stuck to the rail, and he's pretty straight, and it's very tight past the 5. And he's just trying to get it in off the jaw. I think he's got enough room to go in off the jaw and come around the other side of the 3, round this side. I think he's got enough just enough to work with. When he's trying to jack up, maybe he didn't fancy that. And I don't think that was a shot. That certainly wasn't what I had in mind. But the 3 goes at the cue ball. Well, I don't think he played the pot. I think he played the safety there, which again was a wise move. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say he played a safety there. Because it's hard to tell sometimes with Stubb when he does this kind of thing. You know, I don't think he typed that bullshit just now. I think that's a previous bullshit, was it? Well, that was actually a double kiss there from Slim. Well, it's easy to use the 5 ball as a stopper, but he's trying to duck the other side here. And the only thing wrong with that shot is that he's left an easy kick for Slim to hit it. Had he played it where he was along the rail, then he wouldn't have left this shot on for Slim. The only thing is it doesn't go past the 5. But it leaves Slim with an easy safety. And that was not the best of shots by Stubb. Because he's left himself open to that. I mean, that was a really poor safety shot by Stubb. You know, that is really so gullible, leaving himself where he did to leave Slim the option just to bury him. And now he's having to do the old hit and hope, and he might have got away with it. I mean, it's not anywhere near set as any sort of combo, but you know, Slim's not got an awful lot of options available here to him. But he has played it. That was a well-controlled shot. Now he's going to have to maybe check this cue ball. Is he going to go 3 rails here? No, he's playing the bank. Didn't even get enough time to get a proper look at that myself before he'd actually played it. So this is a crucial shot. 8 ball right in the middle of the table, just off the head spot of the rack. Oh, he's trying to be too cute. And that, again, that's a really poor shot by Slim. And Sylvia's luck has run out. LS3 has taken her out by 4 racks to 1. And the old ladies 1 lost side match. And meanwhile, Slim's doing his best to lose this one. Hanging up the 5 ball, trying to be really delicate and cute. And it didn't work, and it's a gift for Stubb. And Stubb is 1 away from the hot seat match now with Spectre Dawn. I think I'm right in saying that. Yeah. And Stubb has had a blast on the 1 ball to try and get around for the 2, which he has done. But that's why he's ended up missing the 1. So he's given Slim at least a slight glimmer of hope, but Slim has overhit that by the country mile. And now he's trying to duck for cover. And that is good, because that prevents Stubb getting to that rail. So now he's going to have to go up and down, I think. There's a 2 ball going, but the cue ball scratched, so Slim survives. But look at this 5 ball, it's just off the rail, but that's still fairly tight. He's got to really get good on that. And that's that 5 ball, I think, Stubb's lifeline in this rack. And it all hinges on Well, that saves any issue because Slim's just comboed the 8 ball. That takes that out of the equation. Where's the 9 ball going? Well, I think Slim has come up dry. Yep, nothing's gone. The 9 ball is very adjacent to the pocket, although it's on the top rail more or less. It's not quite perfect. But Stubb, what's he trying to manufacture here? Is he trying to kick to the long rail and punch the edge of the 9? That might be what he's trying, or he could be trying to just squeeze the one past the 9. It's hard to tell. Let's have a look at this 9. It's not in the pocket. I think he's trying to use the 9 to get the 1 in and hold for the 2. That's the obvious shot. It's a big pocket from that point of view, but he's actually played it clean. That was excellent. And once again, he can do the same thing. He can use that 9 ball if he needs to. He's just going to drop it in dead weight. And now he just has to get up to the middle of the table. But he's the wrong side of the 7, but it shouldn't be any issue. So this match is over. So Slim is going over into the Lion's Den on the 1 loss side. Stubb goes through by 7 racks to 4. So now we've got a hot seat match between Stubb and Spectre Dawn. And meanwhile, Slim moves across, and Bill is now waiting on his arrival. And meanwhile, LS3 has just started her match with Mooncake, and she's up 1-0 in a scratch match there. And Bill just about to start with Slim. So Stubb and Spectre Dawn will be underway, but I'm going to jump into this match with LS3 and Mooncake. Well, the only thing I didn't like about that shot there is that if the angle was there, then why not stun that ball in and let the cue ball come down? Because you're guaranteed to be on the 4. But when you start running rails and you finish in the short side, you can end up doing that. Well, that's a good recovery. So Mooncake looks as if he's going to square the match. The 9 ball is just off the rail. So we'll head into that match with Spectre Dawn and Stubb once we've seen this one. These races to 4 don't take long. But that cue ball just running behind what looks like the 4 ball has just blocked Mooncake. He's potted the 6 and 7 and now looking to push. Now that's going to leave a little teaser for LS3, who I'm pretty certain will take this on, because the cue ball has to go around the angles and back up the table, and should be unlucky not to be able to see this 2 ball. So, big shot this for LS3. But it was Mooncake putting the bait out, and LS3's not only taken the bait, but she's played it perfectly. How is she going to deal with the 3 though? Because the 3 and 8 aren't a combo. But that 3 will cut as long as you can get to this spot here. Anywhere within that angle there and in that window like that, again, that's excellent. And that gives you that cut shot in the 3. Now, again, plenty of room to be able to see the 4 ball somewhere, but that couldn't have finished any worse. That little kiss in the 5 had just pushed the cue ball into no man's land. And this is one of these either or. What do I do? That looks like a scratch. This looks no good. Again, you've just got to make your mind up and go 100% for it. Could be the bank, could be the cut. Hard to decipher exactly what she's playing. Looks like the cut to me. Just got to watch the cue ball. Well, the only way this goes wrong is the cue ball coming off the 5, going to there and scratching. But LS3 has not hit it. She has not hit it. And the line that the cue ball was taken was very close to this corner pocket, but she's under-hit that by 2 feet at least. Going all out for the bank. Well, we know that if you don't hit it in the way up, it ain't going to go in the way down. But she'll settle for that. You know, that is very tough to hit correctly, this 8 ball. To try and keep it tight and keep it safe. But certainly the short side of that 8 ball would be the shot to play. And try and skim it and just get back up. Somewhere up behind the 9. But again, he's just, you know, Mooncake's just scared that he hit that too thick and too heavy and brought the 8 ball out any further. And I think LS3 will go for the bank again. Or is she going for the double kiss? No, all out for the bank. Once again, as soon as it hits that rail, it just comes back from whence it came. Well, this time, Mooncake's got enough of this to cut. Got to get it swiftly. Oh, he's hung it up, and that's a complete gift now for LS3. Well, this is the bonuses that you like. Your opponent sitting kicking themselves, and you just clear up what's left. Oh, I think there's at least 3 balls in the break there. Now, how's LS3 in the 1? No shot. Oh, aye, I thought that was the one up the table. It's the 9. There's the one there. The eyes have completely gone, folks. Well, she's just trying to get in the bottom side. But does she want to play the combo? Because she's not ideal just to drop this into the side. Because the cue ball's just squirting away slightly and leaving us a more awkward cut in the 3. Yeah, it's one of those that you don't want to play if you can help it. And the reason for that is the cue ball is leaking away, and now you've got just as tough, if not a tougher shot on this 6 from distance. And got to run the cue ball to get back into the table, and play that 7 into the same pocket. You can't be trying to do anything again cute. And once again, LS3 has not hit the shot. Apart from the fact she's hung the 6, she just not went right through with the shot. I don't know whether she was trying to hold for that into the side pocket, but the safest route is back into the table. And that's a complete gift return of favour by LS3. And we're all square. Well, something's gone. It might have been the 4. I think it was. 4 ball is gone. The 1 ball goes past the 8. Pretty certain. Now is Mooncake going to find his way out here? Well, it looks like just a little drop in. A little drop in, and if you can, get that cue ball out far enough where you drop the 5 in and running through for the 6. And that's absolutely perfect. And nothing to do, just get a little stun. He hasn't really got into it, I think. Needed a wee bit more. And this is now all of a sudden become pretty tricky. Well, there's the first part done, but that collision in the 7, you don't know where you're ending up. And from a great chance to Mooncake, he's now looking for a great safety to stop LS3 having a sight on this 7 ball. And that is pretty good. That's exactly how you want to hit it. Let's have a quick look at the bracket and see how things are going in that other match. Well, at the moment, Stubb is up by 2 racks to 0 according to that. And Mooncake's gone way loose again. That collision in the 9 has killed it. And it's always, you know, when you end up having to play recovery shots all the time, sooner or later you're going to run out. You just got to try and hang in there for another one. And again, talking about hanging in, is that going to go? Oh, it's just got in. What a shot. With the last breath and roll of the ball. Well, it might have gone in, but this is totally ugly on this 9 ball. You can't cut that, you'll scratch. You've got to try and pick the line off the end rail and try and nudge it into the side. And the way to do it would be hit it direct or maybe nudge it off the rail and clip it in. But you can't cut that down the pocket, down the rail, I don't think. Well, he's went for the old stubberoonie, or the capo shot as we used to call it. We're now calling it the stub. Just give it a bang and hope. I'm surprised he didn't try and kick that in. I mean, the chances are if you miss it, you're still going to lose the rack. But I think you had better odds of actually kicking that in than you had a banging it round the table. Where's the cue ball going? Oh, there is a cardinal sin and a half there by LS3. My God. Well, there's the gift of the night there to put Mooncake in the hill. All kindly delivered from LS3. Now look where the 9 ball's finished, and the break is dry, I think. Well, that 9 ball is waiting for anything to be rolled onto it to be put away. So when you're playing safeties, you've got to be careful where you're sending a ball to. That's a good shot. That's excellent. That's got Mooncake in a whole heap of trouble. Now, what Mooncake doesn't want to do here is hit another ball and bring the 2 ball into play, because if he fills another ball, right, he's going to give LS3 a ball in hand on that 9, but in his actual fact, he's hit the 2 and he's left a little billiard now. LS3 can nudge the 2 up the table and probably still leave it on and billiard the 3 in. She's just got to jab this in. And the 3 goes, the 2 stays in play, which was the right way of playing it. And now, I think she's enough room to pot the 2, come into the gap, and be on this 4. Somewhere there. Oh, she's getting a wee bit too much. And again, she's found a way to scratch. And it's, well, the lifeline there is the fact the 4-ball does not squeeze past that 5, or it would have been an easy 4-9 combo. And this is not ideal to get good on the 6 for a 6-9 combo, so he's going to have to try and run the table. And he's way undercut the 5. And LS3 has the golden opportunity to take this all the way. And there's some crazy things been going on here. I like what LS3 said. And where's this cue ball finishing? Well, if it keeps rolling, it's plumb. Now, you've just got to get back far enough for a shot in the 7. The angle there's coming in the short side of the 7, unless you want to come right around and out. So you've got to be 100% in what you're trying to do. So that's perfect. Perfect in the short side of the 7. Well, what are you going to do to mess this up, LS3? Follow the 8-ball in? No, I don't think so. So, final rack decider. And just drag this 9 in. And LS3 breaking on her. She's breaking from the same place she scratched the first. This time she's went to the side rail. And I don't think she's had any joy. Oh, look at this for a setup. Mooncake comes to the table. A dinky little 1-5 combo just to keep the 1 there. 2-ball is adjacent. 3-ball goes past the 9 up the table. And this has just got to be checked. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. A little... Well, he's trying to come around this side. He's got to miss the 2. Now that's a fatal mistake there. And I think he can consider himself fortunate he's still got a shot of some description, because to me, if you checked your cue ball, you wouldn't have been letting it run around the corner. Because the obvious thing is you had to avoid hitting the 2. And now he's looking at either or here. And it's a tight squeeze past the 7 up the table, but it does go. But it goes into the side. And that's just as tight. And hasn't quite got the cue ball through far enough, but it will do. Got to be on the 4. Oh, commentator's curse. And Mooncake is going to gift this match to LS3 if she can get on that 4-ball. And I think, let's have a look. Can she just drop through? Yep. Drop through and out. She's actually overcooked that, because the shot to play was just to drop through to roll it in the side. Now she's potting it and going up the table that way. Well, this couldn't be simpler. Let's have a look. Just kill it stone dead, 7 into the side. And if you're straight enough, kill it for the 8 as well. In fact, no, she isn't straight enough, so just a little roll in. Well, don't dink this where you're drawn to that side pocket, because that is still a possibility. She's actually the right side to prevent that, and that will do. So LS3 is sort of fallen over the line, but she's there, and she goes through against Mooncake by 4 racks to 3. So now that that's over, let's head straight in and see the rest of this match. And Stubb had a 2-0 lead, and it's now 3-2 with Spectre on at the table, looking likely, extremely likely, that he's going to square this match up. No handicap, it's scratch. And again, don't scratch the side pocket, so he's went to the 1 rail and back across, which again is the safest route. So we're now tied up here as well. And Stubb will be looking for revenge for last week. That's scratching, and he's done pretty much the same as LS3 did, although she was over a bit further to the left. I still say that, you know, if you're just going to break the balls, the safest break is just straight down the middle and back, the way Larry does it. So it's a 1-9 combo for a quick win here for Stubb to take the lead again. And he's a complete slam, and now he's flipped to 1 again. Unbelievable. He just gets away with it. And I think he's got a pot in the 2 as well. I think that squeezes past the 8, no problem. I mean, he's given it a good look, but he's got, you know, half a pocket that 2 ball will get into it. Well, Stubbs ended up getting out of jail there. I mean, the 9 wasn't that far away from the pocket. Gives it a good slam, misses the 9, and the 1 follows in. And that 5 is fairly tight, but it goes no problem. And that's not gone far enough. He's going to have to get into the cue ball just to come across. Well, that used all the pocket, and he hasn't got into it. He hasn't got into it enough. That needed a bit more of a jab to get the cue ball to work. And now it's the old blast and thin cut, and now he has to get lucky. And I think he, well, it's awkward, but he's got a shot. And this is actually typical of how Stubb goes about his business a lot of times. He'll just keep potting balls, but he's not getting shake most of the time. He's just trying to stay at the table, and he's done with the help of a fluke at the end of the day. But he's got the lead again. Took a bit longer than was planned, but he got there. And I think this time it's his turn to come up dry. And once again, the 9 ball has gone very close to that top right-hand corner pocket, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a combo. If Spectre Dawn can see enough of this one to actually pot it, let's have a quick look. I don't think he can. What's he trying? No, he's just trying to run it and keep to the side rail and keep it reasonably safe. Now Stubb can try and get up towards the 9. Oh, he hasn't got there. And he's left a shot on. I don't know, can he get enough of the 1? Yeah, I think he can. The only worry is how he gets onto the 2. And he's trying to hold it with the 6, and that was well played. That was excellent. Oh, this is maybe going too far, is it? Oh, he's just held it. I think he's... let's have a look. Now, he's obviously close to the rail. He's playing this with top right to spin and avoid the 6 and get that 4 into the side as well. Well, this is another one where Spectre Dawn's going to have to work for it. He's going to have to go... Is he trying to just leave the long cut in the 5? Yes, he is. He could have tried to run that. There was a possibility of getting round for the 5 into that side pocket, but he chooses to leave himself the longer pots. Now, the cut into the side got to be on the 7 and got to be out. And I don't believe he'll try and play for an 8-9 combo. I think he'll come up into the table. I think that's a sensible shot. He doesn't want to be taking any kind of liberties. Yeah, just get the spin working, get around the corner and into the middle of the table. And that's just what was required. And he's home and dry, and we're back all square. And I'll have a quick drink. So into rack number 9. And Spectre Dawn has the 1 ball in the break. Cue ball way down table here. And no sight of the 2. Now is Stubb going to put him back in, or is he going to... He's looking to see if the 2 will pass the 3, which it doesn't, so he's going to have to try and duck here, I think. Well, there's no way in the 2 banks, so he's got to come up with something, or put Spectre Dawn back in, which is what he's done. And Spectre Dawn's left with the dilemma of what he's going to try and do to get out of this and leave it safe. He's just trying to nudge over and use that 3, and he's done that pretty well. And Stubb could have easily played that. I'm surprised he didn't. And he's left himself having to kick. And he's given ball in hand to Spectre Dawn. So that was a bit of a gullible shot from Stubb. Stubb didn't even look at the possibility of just playing the same shot that Spectre Dawn just played there. Used the 3 ball as cover. He was trying to duck the cue ball in amongst these. He didn't get them. He didn't get it in behind. There wasn't much room, but he got what he planned in the first place, and that was to use the 3. And it's an opportunity for Spectre Dawn. He's got an awful lot of work to do as far as the 5 ball goes, but Stubb could have had him in trouble. And now Spectre Dawn will be putting a bit of right on this to cut the 4 and get a nudge. Nothing too heavy, I don't think. I think he'd just try and nudge something out the way. And that has worked out a dream. Couldn't have landed any better. That hasn't though, because he didn't want to hit the 6. He wanted to come behind that there. He's still got the cut. Never a doubt. So now it looks like it's going that direction. And that pace looks perfect. Again, absolutely pinpoint, stone dead on the 8. Either roll to the rail or a little stun, whichever you're happy with. And Stubb walked into that. And Spectre Dawn dealt with the problem with the 5 ball. And again, it's an object lesson in how to get yourself out. The push out was played. Stubb looked around, didn't see the bank, and I don't even think he thought of the safety, so he refused it, put Spectre Dawn back in. Spectre Dawn played the safety, used the 3 ball for cover. Stubb had to kick, hit the wrong ball, and the rest is history. And it's 5-4 to Spectre Dawn. And Stubb is getting an object lesson in how to get out, and made the wrong choice when he had the opportunity to play the safety. Refused it, and lost the frame because of it. And that hasn't finished perfect in the 2. Well, that was a tough shot. He made a damn good effort at it. And this time, Spectre Dawn gets a lucky roll. Easy hit. This could scratch if he comes in behind the 2 ball. It could scratch the top corner pocket. He had to brush it and he's cut it in, but where's the cue ball going? Well, that 3 ball cuts up the rail, and there's no doubt that's what he's playing. Stubb, it's all or nothing every time. Again, having to let the cue ball run loose, and he's run behind the 9, and needs a lucky roll, which this time he's got. How's Spectre Dawn's luck? Well, no good this time. Well, this is another little tricky one down the rail. Got to watch that knuckle. And he, in order to avoid that, he sent it away from the actual rail. And that is going to cost Stubb. There's going to be daylight between the two of them. Spectre Dawn is going to have a 6 racks to 4 lead, and more importantly, he's going to be 1 away from yet another Friday night 9-ball final. Now, while he's finishing that off, quick look across here. We've got Bill and LS3 underway. It's 1 rack all in that match. Now, did I check and see what the handicap was? Oh, it's 3 racks to 1 to Bill now. I must have read that wrong. It must have been 2-1. Looks like LS3's getting the 8-ball or something like that. And meanwhile, Spectre Dawn is 1 away. Well, something's gone, and the 1 ball has followed the cue ball around the table there. What ball went in? The 3, the 4. Well, he's got an easy safety, but he's again looking at this awkward cut into the side. And he's caught the knuckle. And the 1 ball is available. It is on. That needs to keep rolling. Well, this is really delicate if he's trying to cut this into the side and hold for the 3. And that was a good shot. That was not easy. Very delicate touch needed there. Now he's got the angle, I think, to bounce off the rail and get out for the 5. Well, this is Stubbs' effort at trying to prevent 3 defeats in a row in tournament matches by Spectre Dawn against him. So Stubbs going to be he's going to have to do it the hard way though. Again, he's not quite got there. I mean, he'd loads of room to get up there. But he's going to be 1 behind with the break to try and square the match and take it to a final rack. Well, I think everybody's gone to bed on this live stream because nobody spoke or said anything for probably the best part of an hour or more. From what it seems, I think Cobra's gone to bed. Oh, Slim's there. Well, here's a. Is this going to be another example of how to run out in an ugly table? He's trying to nudge that 5, that 1 off the 5 there into the side. That's what he's trying. Just caught the knuckle. And well, meanwhile, Stubb has done everything to get himself in the mire, and that couldn't be any worse. And that might be the shot that seals his fate here, because this is going to be extremely difficult to get a hit in this too. That's his best chance there. It wasn't a bad effort, but it does give ball in hand to Spectre Dawn. 3 ball is off the rail, but he's got to pot this 2 and get that cue ball well away from the 9. I think he's just going to roll through and leave the cut, but he doesn't want to be. He doesn't. The further the braver he is, the further up he goes, the easier it is just to hold to the 4. That could easily have went another foot, but he didn't want to take that risk, so it's a little dink in. And Stubb, I think, senses defeat here. And let's be honest, Spectre Dawn very rarely turns down opportunities like this. Again, this will only go wrong as if he goes near that left side pocket. That's the only way this can go wrong. He's got to be on the 7 with the track of the cue ball, but he doesn't risk running the cue ball. He just prefers to leave the longer shot. But from where he's sitting, he's got a choice of what he does with the cue ball to get on this 8. He can just roll through for it into the opposite side, which is what he's done. And there's a gentle roll in, and this match is over, and Stubb moves over to the 1 lost side. And again, quickly, while this is finishing, Spectre Dawn through to yet another Friday night 9-ball final. We will dash across and try and catch the end of this match with Bill in LS3. Although we might be too late, and we are. Bill has just gone over the line in a final rack decider against LS3, so now it's Bill against Stubb to see who goes into tonight's final. Now, of course, for Stubb, it's going to be yet another revenge match, because that's 3 matches in a row that he's lost to Spectre Dawn in this tournament. He won't want reminding of that, but I'll be the first to remind him. I'm fairly certain that was last week's Friday night 9-ball. Stubb was lost twice last week to Spectre Dawn, and he's already lost once this week, and you never know. But Bill might have something to say about that. So we will jump in preparation for the showdown again. We're in the first rack already. It's only the race to 4 on the 1 lost side, so no room to breathe, and it's a scratch match again. And so the break from Bill was dry, and that was a very quick disconnect by Stubb. That's the fastest ever reconnect I've ever seen. Well, Stubbs. Oh, something's gone amiss here. This is out of sync, because that's saying foul. Right, let's get out of the room. Something is well out of sync there. Now, has that 1 ball travelled far enough past the 6? Well, it has, so it doesn't cut in the side, but it certainly goes up top. The cue ball brushing off the 6, which hasn't done it any harm. Now let's have a quick check on the 7. The 7's off the rail. Bill looking for first blood here. Well, that 7 ball and the 6 ball are going to be tricky, because Bill's got to be taking this 5 ball with some sort of angle. Straight in the 5 is no good. He needs some sort of angle so that he can get up table past the middle pocket as we look. He wants to be anywhere up here with that sort of angle so that he can get back and be able to play the cut. He has to be able to get that, and then the problem is how he gets on the 7. Now, that is going to end up extremely unfortunate because he wanted to be in a dangerous line on that 6 ball to make it easier to have a shot in the 7. And it might cost him the rack if he can't execute the jump, but Bill's usually pretty solid. Well, he jumped it well, but the collision in the 6 didn't work out. And Stubb has a gift to start him off. Well, this again has just got to be kept flush because it is slightly off the rail. And that just managed to hold its line. It was threatening to leak away. And now Stubb putting loads of left English in this. So he's checking the cue ball quite a bit. And maybe he actually took it off it. But he's got the sort of line you want to be on this 9 ball. Well, that's the rack that got away for Bill there. But that 6 and 7 were always going to be awkward when they were lying, well, pretty much on the rail. And ultimately that's what cost him. He ended up hooking himself. Meanwhile, Stubbs broke off in rack number 2, and I think there's a lot of movement, but it's came up dry. 2 ball over the side pocket. Bill might be giving this a bash. No, he's gone for the cut. And he's done everything there. He's done everything. He's went for the cut in the 1, just missed that. He almost banked to 4. And then he almost nudged the 7 onto the 2 and into the hole, and none of them worked. Somehow you think your fate is sealed when you don't get that rub of the green, eh? He had 3 goes at potting a ball there with 1 shot, and nothing happened. They all stayed in the table. I don't know whether Bill's got the full cover, has he? Yes, he has. Good shot. Stubb giving it a blast. Almost kicked it in. Well, the 1 ball with no cuts. He's got to be able to see the 2, but look at where the 3 is. Let's have a quick look at this 3 ball. Well, I say he's got to be able to see the 2. He's just got there. Now, this 3 ball can nudge the 4 in. The problem when you play that shot is where the 3 ball ends up. So, Bill's got to be thinking immediately how he's going to get there. But I don't think he's any alternative. He's got to play the 3. If he can get, it all depends on the line. And that's not ideal. This has now become a difficult shot because he's not behind the line of the shot. He's got to get it to the rail and just catch the 4. And then it looks as if the 3 is going to come out this way and the cue ball will be somewhere there. Well, he's played it perfect. I mean, he's played it dead weight. He's nailed it. And he's still got work to do. As if, even if he gets on this 6 ball, the 7 is extremely tight past the 9, although it does go, and he could end up using the 8 ball for it to go in, but that is only if he finishes somewhere here. You know, anywhere else is no good to him. He has to be sort of in a very good line on this 7. So this is not cut and dried. Now, he's not going to try and nudge this 7 and 9, is he? I wonder what he's thinking. Because then you're taking a risk. You're going to get a good roll of the ball if you do this. And then you're also thinking, what are my odds of getting good on this 7 to be able to pot it? And once you've made that decision, then you have to be committed to the shot. And he's trying to get in the low side of the 7. And, you know, back from the fact that he's just overhit it slightly and he's got in this in-between zone again, this twilight zone. He's left with one of these ones where you have to pick the line and play it in all faith that you're going to get the right line. You're on the 8 ball, no worries. So this is the rack decider right here. Why am I calling Stub Bill? Because I'm tired, that's why. I think I was calling a Bill. I don't even remember because I'm not even listening to what I'm saying. My brain's shut down. Yeah, that was not easy. But it hasn't gone safe because it's well off the rail. And Bill, who's at the table, unless I'm out of sync, has a gift to square the match this time. So the tournament's been on for 2 hours and 44 minutes. And remember, we only had 14 in this week. Sign-ups were a wee bit thin on the ground. It's been, you know, well full this tournament for the last few weeks. It's been full up every week for quite a while. But this is holiday time. And there's not that we have that many in the VP4 lobby, but we're a bit short of people. And meanwhile, Bill has broke off in rack number 3 and the 3 ball is gone. He's got a 1-4 combo to keep him at the table, which is fairly straightforward. Problem with that is, though, is where he's sending the cue ball, and that wasn't ideal. So again, he has a hampering ball, and he's looking to play the bank, and he's nailed that. How's his luck in the shot in the 2? No joy, but he'll bail out with the jump stick. Now that needs to just hold the line, and that is perfect. He's got the perfect little angle in this 5. It's all about pace. He's got to be able to see the 6. Of that, there's no doubt. It's just about the pace. And that pace looks pretty good to me. And anything but dead straight, and he's got the slight angle. He just wants to keep him as in good a line on this 7 ball as he can. Again, not dead straight or an angle where he can just roll through and take the 8 into the top pocket. But I think he's the other side. Yeah, he's the other side of the 7. So the cue ball is either coming out here for the 8 that way, or it's going that way to come down for the 8 this way, and he's got the second option, and that's perfect. So Bill doesn't get a lot of table time, but he's been getting some recently because he's finding his way a shot, and when you find that way a shot, then everything else is autopilot, and he's done well there to get out. 2-1 lead. That didn't quite sound as healthy a break, but the 4 balls eventually spun itself in. But no real shot in the 1. Now, what's he going to try here? Again, he can use the 5 ball as a stopper. or try and tuck it away behind the 7. Well, he's just overhit that slightly because I think he was wanting to keep that tighter. Stubb just decides he's having a blast, and having a blast, he's left Bill absolutely stone dead in the 2, with the 1 with the 2 to follow, a 3 to follow that, the 5 very adjacent. The only problem shot for Bill here is getting good in the 6. That's the only worry looking ahead. He's got loads of room to get on that 6, but it's all going to hinge on how good he is on the 5 in the first place. And I think the 5 goes in past this 7, which it does. So now that we've established that, Bill's just going to come back off this 5, leave himself a good line in the 6 like that. That's fine. And again, it's all to do with the angle that he leaves in the 7. Now, ideally, he wants to sort of be coming down the left side. Now, it needs to spin out. It needs to spin out. Now, you can still go forward and check this with a load of left English and still come down this side. But the danger is if he's short, he's running into the 9. This is the only worry you have with this shot. You see, he's short. And so obviously now it's about avoiding hitting the 9. Or at least stopping the 9 going safe. And he spun the cue ball out far enough, and that's simple enough just to tuck it away. And so Bill is on the hill. So Stubbs, oh, where's the cue ball going? Well, I'll tell you where it was going. That cue ball was scratching, and the 3 ball came to the rescue to prevent that. But it has come up dry, and Stubb has an easy 1 ball to start with a easy 2 to follow. Now, he almost billiarded the 9 in there. If he'd hit that a wee bit harder, this rack would have been over. But now, as it is, he's got to run the table. And immediately, he's got work to do. He's going to have to jab this in and get a hold of the cue ball to get on this bottom side of the 4. He's nudged the 9 again. He's had 2 goes at nudging it in, and it still hasn't gone. Well, it's only going to be a crazy, insane execution of a shot that's going to stop him winning this rack, because it all looks fairly straightforward here. Make sure you see the 6. You know, don't do something like that and draw into the 7, because if you'd drawn that any softer, you'd have been hooked. Well, Stubbs in Last Chance Saloon in his attempts to get yet another revenge match with Spectre Dawn, because Bill only needs 1, Stubb still needs 2, and he has the break, of course, so it's basically no miss from the pair of them. You know, unforced errors, or in this case what looks like a dry break. Did anything go? No, it's dry. Oh, I'm pretty certain he'll want to see that. He hasn't said he will, but I'm pretty certain he'll send me a message, unless he's out golfing or doing something like that, or barbecuing or whatever the hell you guys do over there in the weekend. So Bill, with the table at his mercy, has the wide open opportunity to end Stubbs' participation this week. But Bill's got bigger fish to fry other than Stubb, should he come through this match, because Spectre Dawn's lying there waiting, and he's not out to do anybody any favours. So this is just going to squirt past the 9. Anything but straight, and this doesn't look great. Let's have a look. Well, he's got to hit this firm, and he's got to hit it pure. And where's the cue ball? He's okay. So Bill goes through by 4 racks to 2, and Stubb's going to have to try again next week. He did well to get this far, but Bill is a man on a mission. But the big test for Bill now is staying with Spectre Dawn and not making too many unforced errors. If he can do that and put a bit of pressure on Spectre Dawn, then we'll have a good match on. Now, so Bill moves across. It's Bill and Spectre Dawn in tonight's Friday night 9-ball final. It's just coming up to 5 to 10, so we're still under 3 hours, and it'll be a race to 9. Now, while they're about to start, again, just a quick reminder, we'll go to the home page, because that's the easiest way of getting to this damn thing. We'll have a look at the cribbage bracket, the tournament page anyway, to see if anything's changed, and it hasn't. So at the moment, the schedule is Sylvia's going to be playing Larry tomorrow night, 7 PM British Summer Time, 2 PM Eastern, 11 AM Pacific, in a race to 15. And then LS3 in an hour later, at 8 PM British Summer Time, is playing Cheeky Chico in that one loss side. Now, what's the one loss side? Because I haven't paid any attention. Race to 13 on the one loss side. And then the big match over the weekend is the one between Cobra and Bedhead on Sunday evening at 7 PM. So, again, if you can't join us for any of those matches, then you can watch the rerun. It'll be on YouTube, no problem. Let me just tab out of that. Now, who's that sending me a PM? Because if they know that how is this taking so long? Because they know that if I'm streaming, I don't open PMs. I hope it's not Steve. No, it's Wizard Cheat. Well, somebody can tell him. Right, let's. That's the wrong room. Hang on a minute. There we go. So, we're into tonight's final. The match has just started. Spectre Dawn won the lag and broke off. And he must have had a ball or something, because he's still at the table. Now, I don't speak Spanish, so somebody can message Wizard Cheat and tell him that I'm not ignoring him. Well, I'm ignoring him, but I don't open PMs in the live stream. Maybe he was looking for somebody to play Cowboy or something with him. I don't know. Well, it needs to be Cowboy, because that's the only thing I would play, but he must be desperate to be asking me, because he never asked me for anything else. Well, Spectre Dawn's got himself in trouble, and this is dangerous to try and jump your way out, so he's trying to kick it in. And again, was there ever a doubt? But this time, he's going to have to play a delicate cut. I don't believe he'll risk the bank. He's going to play the cut. So, it looks very much like a break and run out for Spectre Dawn. Well, this is one good thing that's happened for Bill in this case. Spectre Dawn has come up dry, and Bill's got first goal, but he's got to pot this one ball and avoid a heap of traffic here to get around and out and still see the two. The gap was there, and that's the natural gap or the natural angle to run that line around the corner off the 3 rails and out. Now he's got a similar problem here in that he's got to find the gap, and again he's got the perfect angle to get in there. Now, again, if he's going forward, he's got to just come inside this 5 ball that way and not run into it like that. I don't think it's damaged him all that much, but he's just now got to get the cue ball back in on a tight rein. And this, again, either go forward and come up or kill it and hold. Now, this shot, again, you can play the delicate one and stun there for the 7, but you've got to get the angle to come back for the 8, and that is perfect. Now again, Bill just having a look at where he's going next. And I roll up the table for the 9 ball. And well, Bill's just let Spectre Dawn know that he's up for the fight. That was a good response to square the match. I knew Spectre Dawn had a wedding on. I didn't know it was today, so congratulations to him. I wonder if that's him away for a couple of weeks now. Well, that's him doomed to a life of misery now. Did I say Spectre Dawn? See, that's how tired I am. I don't even know who I'm talking about this time of night. Yeah, did I actually say so? I just thought I said I knew he was getting married. I never knew I said Spectre Dawn. Maybe I did. I just don't know what I'm talking about at this time of night. It's way past my bedtime. Anyway, good evening to Mal. So Spectre Dawn in a multitude of Friday night 9 ball finals is in yet another one. And Bill with the responsibility of trying to take him down. But Bill's got to be playing at a similar level to Spectre Dawn to stay with him and not let him get away. But if Spectre Dawn does stuff like this, it can give Bill opportunities to pounce. He's trying a little billiard. Yeah, I think he tried. Well, I'm trying to say that he tried a little billiard, but in the end, I don't know what he really tried there. Did he try and just push the 4 to the top rail? Yeah, he didn't hit that anywhere near hard enough if he was trying to billiard the 7 in. But regardless of that, Bill is going to have to get control of this cue ball to get nice in the 6. Again, he's come back a little short. This is now running loose The pace is perfect. And Bill's touch has been good from what I've seen him tonight. I've not seen him in all his matches, but his touch is way better. He must have been getting some practice in during the week. He's playing pretty solid. So that gives him the lead. Now, can he build on that lead? He can do that with that 3 ball going in and the 1 ball staying in play and still having a shot. But I think that 7 ball might have killed that. I think, well, does he think he can get that to cut it? I think he's only got the bank on. I mean, he's got to play a legal shot by cutting it because it has to hit the 1 first, so he has got it. Yep, it's legal. Now, well, the 1 ball's not really a cut into the side, but he's got to go through far enough and low enough on this 4 ball. Well, he hasn't really gone low, but again, he's got loads of room to get out off the rail. He can check it with a bit of right just to bring it square and get good on the 5. Or is it in a gap? Oh, it goes out. I was just wondering whether it did pass the 8, so Bill obviously had checked that out before I did. Now, this is the only way you can beat players like Spectre Dawn, is by you producing the goods and making very few errors. And that doesn't matter, it just doesn't matter who you play. In the top end players in this game, you've got to be playing to as high a standard or better than them. And then it's all down to the roll of the ball. Now that there was just a wee bit risky, but he's fine. Well, Bill has built on his opportunities. The break and run gives him a 2-rack gap, means it to continue. But as we always see in VP4, you just don't get that consistency of breaks that you get in a professional game. You'll never see that in VP4. There's never a break that's predictable in VP4. That's one thing you can guarantee. So having a long streak of runouts is pretty damn tough the way this is set up now. The builds came up dry, and Spectre Dawn has his chance to get back into this rather rapidly. Still got to decide whether he's just going to roll up and play the long cut in the 3, which he is. So that now means he's going to have to play the long cut and avoid the 7. Now it's touch and go whether he'll chip this 7 or not, but if he chips it thin enough, he's going to come up the table and have a shot in the 4. That might be what he's worried about. No, well, he might have mentioned that. Well, he's missed the 7. Where's the cue ball going? Well, now these are the kind of lucky roll of the ball if you're Bill watching this happen, because Spectre Dawn's got himself in a knot here, right behind the 9, and he's got slim odds of hitting this 4 ball because he is nailed right on the 9, and that's cut down a whole heap of angles for him. Well, he's found it, but that's unlucky. He's scratched. Now, does Bill... Well, I think the 4 ball's too close to the rail, but yeah, he's not playing any sort of combo in the 9 there. So, this is the most important shot in this visit, is getting around and across and down onto this 5. which he's done. Yeah, I was saying to Steve, was I not saying that? And well, I was saying what I was saying, Mal, is that if you compare VP4 to real life and you watch the pros play 9-ball, the pros can break in 9-ball, and the one thing that you'll see is that the one ball's going into the side pocket if they've got the break right. You know, the one ball will go across into a side or something like that. There's a sort of predictability in the pattern to the pros breaking on a real table. You don't get that in VP4. So in that respect, if you have to say that the realism has been sort of taken out of VP4 in that the breaks in VP4, there is absolutely no predictability about them. But I think that's all down to what happened in testing. You know, what happened in testing was that Larry was breaking and Larry was getting the 9-ball to go to the top right-hand corner pocket each time. And ever since Larry showed Steve that, in all the updates that he's ever done for 9-ball, a lot of them were to tweak the break. And now it's got to a stage where you're getting sometimes a whole heap of dry breaks, and well, you don't see the one ball going into the side, or you would very rarely see it. But as I say, there's a complete difference from that to real pool or real 9-ball. That's the other thing I mentioned as well is that shooters pool. And I don't know how it works, and I don't know whether it affects the game because I've not tried it. But I'm sure Shooters Pool had the template break if you wanted to use that in 9-ball. I didn't even look at it to test it, but I'm sure that they've given the players that option in Shooters Pool. At least I seen it somewhere, unless I was dreaming. I'm pretty certain I did. So you've got a choice, I think, in Shooters Pool where you can have the normal rack set up of the balls, or you can use the template. But as I say, how that affects their game and how it affects their breaks, I haven't a clue. I haven't looked at it. But what I'm really saying is VP4s went from one extreme to the other. Yeah, the VP3 break was totally predictable. You know, you had guys like One Eye who plays nothing but straight pool, and he could break in straight pool and call a ball into the side pretty much every time, which you'd never do in straight pool. You would never break like that in real straight pool. But as I say, VP4 has really gone probably too far in the other direction. I think that's the thing. You know, so if you want to compare VP4 to top-end, high-end professional pool, you're not going to see, guys playing in a race to 9 and a guy breaking and running 7 racks in a row. It ain't going to happen in VP4, but it happens in real life. You know, on the day it could happen in VP4, but it'll be a cold day in hell before it does. Anyway, back to this match. Spectre Dawn still trailing by 2, and a very quick long 1-9 combo here to get back to within 1. And this looks all too easy, but if he overcuts that 1 and it goes this side, he's just going to hang the 1 near the corner pocket. So he's got to get this right. Well, he's still giving it serious thought. He's got to pretty much get this flush, and he hasn't read the line. See, that's the only thing I haven't done, because I very, very rarely go into Shooter's Pool. I go in to have a look around and see if there's been any updates. But I've never played 9-ball for any length of time where I'm breaking just to keep testing the break to see if there's anything, any sort of pattern in the break shots in shooters. I don't know. I might have to look into that. I mean, at the end of the day, if we don't have that sort of predictability in VP4, it is all down to who can move the ball, the cue ball, the best, and who has the consistency that's going to win out. Regardless of how it breaks at the end of the day, whoever gets the table can pot a ball. It's what they do with the rest of them that matters. And Bill has been reeled in here. Spectre Dawn will be back within one. So, big matches coming up in the cribbage, none more so than the Cobra Bedhead match. Race to 15 on Sunday night, and a couple of matches on tomorrow night as well. We'll get Larry and Cobra at 7. Not Larry and Cobra, Larry and Sylvia. And then I think it's LS3. Is it LS3 and Cheeky Chico? In the one loss side, starting an hour later at 8 o'clock. Well, that's a nice little rub there. Bill gets a little rub off the 7. And he's on the 2. Well, you see, there's an argument for that and there's an argument against it. If there's any other guys who are maybe not classed as high-end players, but if they then, watched and learned the break, then the rest of it's down to the basic ability. If they're paying attention to what the other guy's doing and watching the break, then they'll very quickly cotton on. But I think basically what we're debating here is well, it's a bit fantasy in that respect, because I don't think if my boys can hold out, I don't think Steve will go down that road. Or at least the way he has it at the moment with this sort of random break that he put into 9-ball, I don't think he's prepared to give the players the choice. Like, as I say, what Shooter's Pool have tried with this option and how the balls are racked by using the template or by using the invisible rack, if you know what I mean. The sort of normal rack that you would have, the triangle rack. As I say, I don't know whether it affects the game in any way. I'd need to ask one or two of the players, but I don't think there's a lot of players that, well, as I say, I don't hang around there, so I don't know who's good, bad or ugly at playing 9-ball in that game. But as it shows in the big tournaments, as you said, Mal, the cream comes to the top regardless of how the table breaks. Over the distance in these big tournaments, that's how it will always be. Until the other players raise their game. It'll always be the same. As long as those players are in the tournament, it's very often those same players that are going to come through. I mean, you've got Albinario right now is in position to run to win 3 of these big tournaments in a row. He's won 2 back-to-back, and he's going for his 3rd. And he's going to be one of the strong contenders to win this. The cribbage, that is. Well, Spectre Dawn can nudge this 9 out the way and probably leave a straight 5-ball, open up the 6. And I think is he slightly hampered? Don't think he is, he's fine. And so this match very likely is going to be all square. And as I mentioned earlier, Bill, when he got that break and run, he opened up that 2-rack gap. He had to really try and build on it. But Spectre Dawn's not letting him get away. You talking about Chinese 8-ball, Al? See, that's a game that VP4 should have, because we've got lots of guys here that like playing 8-ball. They don't play it. Players like Spectre Dawn and all of them, they don't play 8-ball a lot, although they will probably play in the big tournaments. But this Chinese 8-ball table that they've got in Shooter's Pool, that's a cracker. That's a tough little beast, that table. And I think that's... I mean, put it this way, there's certain games in VP4 that you could easily ditch because nobody plays them. And add Chinese pool into it, Chinese 8-ball. That's a brutal game, that, so it is. So, Spectre Dawn back within 1. Bill having to go and rely on Old Faithful again. He should be on the 2 with no problem. As long as he doesn't hamper himself with that, what looks to be the 8-ball from here. Now, this is the one he has to get right. And that's, now that shot there, when I say he has to get it right, he was potting the 3 there with loads of left English so that when it hit the rail, it came back this way and didn't go that way. But in doing that, that's why he's missed the 3. Now, I think the only worry he had was that he was going to let that run maybe natural, and he was worried about hooking himself behind the 7. I think it was worth the risk, considering that having put all that inside English on the cue ball, it's undone him. And that was a very good opportunity for Bill to open that gap there again, and he's blown it. And as I say, that you don't want to be giving too much encouragement to Spectre Dawn. But Spectre Dawn, with all the table time that he does get, and all the times he's regularly won this Friday night 9-ball, he's still yet to convert that into one of these big tournament wins. But he doesn't give himself that opportunity because he doesn't play in all of them. He doesn't seem to have any interest other than 10-ball and 9-ball. And he doesn't give himself as many opportunities as the rest of the guys. Cobra and players like that were prepared to adapt and survive in the black ball tournament. And sort of learned their way through that during the tournament. Well, the 9-ball has gone in. Spectre Don's got it back all square. 9 ball will get respotted. But I don't think he's got a clean shot in the one. Let's have a quick look. Well, it does go. There's room to get by there. Timing is an issue for who, Slim? Oh, for Bill? Oh, aye. I mean, Bill's probably playing this at work on his laptop. So the breakout was played by Spectre Dawn, but he didn't get a lucky roll. That was the shot he had to play to bring the 4 ball into play, and he's now having to kick and hope. Yeah, but the thing I've noticed this week is that Bill's been played to a pretty good standard this week. His touch has been very good, and I don't think that's suddenly that he's run into a vein of form. I think he must have been getting a wee bit more table time during the week. Well, where's the 3 ball going? Well, that's one way of getting the ball in the hole. Now this 4 ball, that 4 ball is way too tight. Yeah, that's just caught a feather of the knuckle, but Bill played that as a 2-in-1 shot there. If he got it, he was on the 6, and if he didn't, he was nailing the cue ball to the 7, but this may well still go in. And it does. So that little glimmer of hope that Bill had there very quickly diminished with a kick shot there from Spectre Dawn. But from what I can gather, this is probably the significant rack in the match, because Spectre Dawn looks to me like he's going into the lead for the first time. I can't remember that far back to the first rack. But it's definitely a 6-5 lead now to Spectre Dawn with the break. And rack number, 12? And something's gone. If that 5 ball gets out of the way, the 1 will go. Now the 2 is going to be an issue, because unless he wants to jack up, it's about the only way he's going to have a shot in the 2 into that side past the 3 ball, unless he wants to run up table and play a 2-8 combo. Now the 2-8 combo is not a problem, but he's let the cue ball run to get on the bottom side of the 2, and he's pretty much got there. Now he's bound to finish in the bottom half of this 3 ball like that, so that he's going to be in the top half of the 4 ball, or the top half of the table to drop back down for the 5. And so whenever you see that, then it's pretty much over and out for this rack. Just a drop in and a roll down for the 5. 7's adjacent to the 5. 8's adjacent to the opposite corner pocket, and 9's over this one down here, so this rack's over. And suddenly, it's Bill with the work to do, but he can't do a thing if he ain't at the table. And this tournament's, well, remember the tournament for the first time in a number of weeks just 2 short of the full sign-ups of 16. So it's still going fairly rapidly. We're still just short of 3.5 hours. But Spectre Dawn's looking at taking as little time as possible to get the job done. Is Bill going to get a chance to respond? Well, he won't as long as balls keep going in the break, and look at where the 1's finished. There's a little gap between the 8 and 9. Now, the question is once Spectre Dawn pots this 1 and 2, is he going to go up on the right side of the 1 on its short side? Is he going to go there? Because that's the safest way to go, where you're not bringing this 8 ball and 9 ball into play. But if he goes that way, then he's got to get into that gap. And that's the choice he has to make. Now, where he's sat in the 2 isn't going to be that conducive, so he's going to leave the bedhead cut. And that was what prevented him doing anything with the cue ball. All he had to do is make sure he gets out. If he gets the cut, which he should, he's always going to be on the 4. And now he's absolutely stone dead straight in the 4. And this is now probably going to have to be an attempted combo in this 5 and 7. Unless he's trying to pinch anything here. He looks as if he is. He looks as if he's trying to tweak this around the corner and get the cue ball up on the short side. And he's pretty much got there. So again, similar delicate little roll, leave the cut angle. And the only decision you have to make here is make sure that you're going left or right and not going towards the 9 and 8. And that's perfect, because he's going to have the perfect little angle. And this is why it's so tough to beat Spectre Dawn. Doesn't matter how, it's the same with anybody, but Spectre Dawn, particularly in Friday Night 9 ball, once he starts getting the roll, as long as that ball's going in, you know, you can't do a single thing. And Bill's been frozen out for the last 4 racks. And suddenly he's on the hill. And again, very quickly, it's become a very long road back for Bill. Trailing 8-5. Spectre Dawn is now running the racks, but this time the 2 ball has gone. And that 1 ball is tight, but it does go. He's just got to let it roll down and give it every opportunity to go in. But doing that means that he's going to leave, again, a thin cut in the 3. This has got to be sort of delicate enough so that the pace isn't too heavy and it just cheats the pocket. Yeah, he's done more to get the cue ball on the 3 ball, but that was a tall order to pot that 1 ball at that pace. But maybe Spectre Dawn was taking a wee bit of a risk there, because he's got the safety net of having a 3-rack lead, and Bill's having to do everything and not miss. I think that's part and parcel how he played that. Oh, now, again, these are the ones you've got to get reasonably good on this 5 ball, because I think the biggest problem here is that 6 ball's tight. Now, I heard 2 things going there. Did 2 balls go there? No, maybe I just imagined it. But this is tough. Yeah, that was really difficult. Now he needs to get a lucky roll. Well, I think he's got away with as far as that goes, but Again, if you actually look up the table, that 5 does go past the 6. It's very tight. But, I mean, you'd have to hit this even sweeter than that other one he tried. He's trying the cross bank. I don't know. Or he may be trying it in the corner. Looks as if he's trying it in the corner. No, he is trying the cross bank. And he's nailed the 6. I was looking to see where he was looking there. I didn't get time, but he did end up playing the cross double. And that may well be the shot that's won him the match and the tournament again. Well, Bill hasn't had a look in for, the last number of racks. So he got no complaints. There's nothing can be done about it. Spectre Dawn is just so solid. And it's another excellent performance. Although he's just let that run a wee bit further than you would like for comfort. But he never misses these, does he? So there we go. The tournament is over. 3 hours and 35 minutes. And it's yet another win for Spectre Dawn. It's still been a good week for Bill. Bill's played well. But that's as well as you can play, provided you get a shot. And he was locked out for the second half of that match there. He had the two rack lead, I think, a couple of times on Spectre Dawn, but that very quickly dwindled away. And I'm pretty certain that is like probably 6 racks in a row there for Spectre Dawn in the end, to win by 9 racks to 5. So that is it, folks. So match is on tomorrow and the big match on Sunday. And I'll be there for that. And then I'm back to work next week, back to normal. So thanks all for watching. Stay safe. Take care. Good night. And I'll see you again soon.